Hi, all. Happy Tuesday. Let me make sure we've got enough folks for quorum. There we go. See, Chuck is signing in. I know Tiffany's going to be late, and Lori is unable to join tonight. Great, looks like we've got quorum. I would love to have a motion to call our meeting to order.
I will make a motion to call the meeting to order.
Fantastic. In a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Fantastic. All right. Motion approved to call this meeting to order. Let's take a moment to review our meeting minutes from May. Did anyone have any questions, clarifications, anything to edit or change on May's minutes?
Lakeisha, other than just me not being listed on the roll call.
That's an easy fix. Not a problem. Anything else we missed? Fantastic. Well, then in that case, I would love a motion to approve with the one edit, adding Stephen Exum to the attendance.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll do that one edit, and other than that, I think we have some approved minutes. All right, let's go ahead and move on to visiting community and parents that might want to speak. And I need a timer. Just 1 second. Stephen, Chuck, do one of you have a phone nearby to, oh, there we go. It was just hiding. I just want to make sure I have a way to do the timer. Who is our first speaker?
It might also be worth just a quick reminder just to make sure everybody's muted. If I think there's a couple folks in the Zoom who might be unmuted at the moment.
Thank you. Yes, please mute. That will help to eliminate background noise, that sort of thing. And for my speakers, please keep in mind that you're given a 2-minute time frame. So I apologize in advance if I have to cut you off and yell time. And as long as we keep everything in accordance with our meeting laws, nothing to be said that's at all breaching any confidentiality, allegations, that sort of thing. That's it. So who is our first speaker tonight? I know we have at least one, maybe two.
I think Beth might be first on the list if I remember correctly.
Fantastic.
Ms. Forbes.
Beth, are you available? I'm not sure that she's joined us yet.
That's okay. I think Mr. Medwick is second. If
Okay.
Yep.
Hear me okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll start the clock whenever you start talking.
Okay. My wife, Jennifer Medwick, was hired at CFCI to handle a class in a difficult transition in fall 2019. She passed her test with flying colors, went on to faithfully and successfully educate her students through the pandemic. Objectively, Jennifer was an accomplished and by any measure effective teacher. And for most of her time at CFCI, her administrative ratings reflected this, proficient to excellent. In the past year, though, these highly subjective reviews gradually soured. Feeling scapegoated for situations beyond her control, Jennifer offered her resignation effective end of year. Her peaceful and respectful offer was met with suspension and a trashy, one-sided resign now or be fired contract, which I applaud her for not signing. One, you've brought untold and undeserved hardship and pain to an innocent teacher. Two, absorbing what was done to her mother.
Let me pause for a second, because I think you're reaching into some areas that aren't good for public hearing due to some of the other things going on?
I'm
Just,
mentioning nothing specific. My testimony is strictly what happened to my wife. Is that not correct?
if it breaches into anything that could be confidential with HR relations, that sort of thing, that's what I'm referring to.
Can you provide anything that I said that breaches into those things?
When you talk about her past evaluations and how it was met, I think that could be a gray area there.
That comes as a surprise to me. I'm speaking in no specific terms. This is just my personal testimony.
Okay, well, I tell you what, if you can, since I did have to interrupt there, if you want to take a minute, maybe editing anything that you think could broach what I'm talking about and finish that time, then that's totally okay. Otherwise, you might want to submit something in writing instead of making it.
Yeah, I don't want to go through all that. Shoot, I thought I went to great lengths to be non-specific for all interested parties. This kind of takes the wind out of my sails. So I'll come back at a later time and finish what I have to say. I think that's all.
Okay, I appreciate that, Gannon, because then that gives us a chance to give you some other specifics that may be things you want to leave out. So that way it won't breach any gray areas there. So sorry about that, but we will revisit that another time. I did want to give a chance to Beth Forbes. Okay, did Beth not have a chance to join us?
No one ever communicated the meeting time with her, so she's trying to log on right now.
Okay, we can give her a few seconds. In the meantime, did we have anyone else who had signed up? Okay, well, maybe Beth changed her mind. This is our usual monthly time of 6. I was hoping that maybe she would pop in last minute, but I certainly want to be respectful of everyone's time and not hold up progress. I'll give just one more minute to make sure. All right. Let's go into introductions for board applicants and give candidates a chance to speak. Welcome, candidates.
Hello.
All right, I think we're going to have just a few.
I'm sorry, Lakeisha, I just let Beth into the waiting room. I just
Okay.
wanted to let you know.
No, that's fine. We haven't started the next part yet.
I think she joined.
Beth, are you with us?
I am sorry. I had emailed to ask what time the meeting was and I never got a response. So someone just sent me the time.
All right. Well, just to let you know, you will have 2 minutes, but I won't start the clock until you start speaking. And just remember, we try to keep things as confidential as possible. go right ahead whenever you're ready. Beth, are
Hey,
you?
so yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I guess, like I said, I wasn't given a time or a date, so my comments aren't as prepared as I would like them to be. I guess I was going to talk about the fact that my son has been beat up or hit. I'm not gonna say beat up, hit multiple times. There have been multiple times where he's been hit, and yet he's also been punished for being hit and doing that. And at the end of the day, I really just want this board to go look at the original charter, read the words that were written by Beth and Renee, and really aim for this school to go back to what CFCI once was. There is so much potential in this school, and the lack of communication and the lack of responsive classroom that I have seen over these last 2 years has really disappointed me. I was hoping that I could read to you what the charter had said about inquiry and teaching the whole child and reaching those moments. And unfortunately, like I said, I wasn't aware of what time, and I didn't get a reply to my email. So I didn't have a chance to pull that up for this time. But really, really, I beg of you, we have been a CFCI family since 2011. My daughter started in kindergarten with Beth Carter. My son had Renee Lemon as a kindergarten first grade teacher. The teachers in this school are amazing. The school needs to return to what it once was. I don't have anything else to say. I would like at one point to be able to speak at the next meeting, though, with a prepared statement.
Okay, Beth, we have a monthly meeting. Typically, it is the third Tuesday of the month at 6, unless otherwise posted, but we always post that to the website in advance.
Okay.
So absolutely, if you sign up and you're unsure, you should be able to find it on the homepage of the website.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. All right, now to move on to our board candidates. And let me pull my trusty little list here and find out who we have with us tonight. Excuse me, I have several tabs open. Just to introduce yourselves, we'd love to have that. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and definitely let us know what you feel as though you could bring to the board. And if you'd be interested in serving in an officer position, such as vice chair or secretary, that would be great to know as well. So I will just go down my alphabetical list here. Ashley Brown, are you with us this evening?
I am, yes.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. So
All
a
right.
little introduction about me. I am a second-year parent of CFCI. My little one is a rising second grader. So we're still new to the community, and we're looking forward to getting to know everyone and still learning the pathways of CFCI. I am in higher education, so I have a lot of experience working at the community college level and the high school level as well. I have experience in helping to create a curriculum and identify student needs and how we can make our curriculum work based on what those student needs are. So I feel like I have a strong background when it comes to education and curriculum. So I feel like I have that to add to the board if you guys were to choose me.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you so much. And Ashley, did you speak to whether you would be interested in an officer position if elected?
I don't believe I would at this time.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Uh,
you.
What about Joshua Davis? Are you with us?
I am. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
How's
And
my volume? Can you hear me?
I hear you very well. I think you're good to go. I forgot to mention you do have a up to 2 minutes to speak. And yes, love to hear a little bit more about you and what you could bring to the board and if you would be interested in serving as an officer.
Gotcha. Yeah, so real quick, my oldest son, Jack, just finished up kindergarten with Miss Shannon, and we had an awesome year. I'm so happy he's there. I'm so thankful for Miss Shannon. I will wave her flag endlessly. She's done a great job, and I absolutely adore that lady. As far as I go, giving it to you fast, grew up in Western North Carolina, graduated high school out there. I'm proud NC State graduate, graduated in technology education, also a North Carolina teaching fellow. Started teaching school in 06 through 2009 in Garner, North Carolina. I'm also a grant writer. While I was in Garner, we won a $3.4 million federal grant for specifically technology. And I spent a lot of time writing that grant. That was a really big deal for us. Moved to Wilmington in 09 and was immediately hired at Ashley High School. I taught carpentry there from 2009 to 2014. Established the carpentry program there from scratch and had a lot of success with that. In 2014, my mother got sick. I bounced over and began working on a construction crew, just doing renovations and additions. I was a foreman. I ran a crew of, I don't know, from 4 to 10 people, just building houses and working on houses between Southport and Topsail. At that point in time, I was called by the community college to go teach in the marine tech department. I taught industrial skills. I taught welding and carpentry in the marine tech department. From there, that grew into working in the continuing education department. I got hired as director of workforce development. I did that for about 2.5, 3 years, and my position at Ashley opened back up. Mr. Sneed, who took over for me whenever I left, he retired and the position was offered to me. And I miss my students. I jumped back in the classroom and I've been there ever since. During the summers, I still work on houses. I think it's the best professional development for a carpentry teacher. So that's what I do now. But yeah, if selected, I'd be more than happy to serve as an officer if need be. I am green. I'm also learning the school, but I'm more than willing to help out. I spend a lot of time in education and I love the charter. I love what you guys stand for. I love the community outreach that you do. And I love the work that you do with the students. And I love the work you've done with my son.
Sorry about that. Thank you again, Joshua. So sorry that I was on mute for a second there, but we appreciate you coming to speak with us tonight. Okay, next is Rebecca Deerdorf. I don't see Rebecca. This stranger to us, Stephen Exum.
Hi, all. My name is Stephen Exum. Most of y'all know me. I have a son, Will. He's going into the 4th grade next year at CFCI. We've been there since 1st grade for him. I've been on the partnership. I jumped into that 3 years ago. I was the vice chair for 1 year, and then I became the member at large to the board. And I've been sitting as a non-voting member on the board for 2 years. I'm interested in the secretary position. The only real boards I've served on have been within CFCI. I have a pretty good, I would think, a track record here. I'm really looking forward to jumping in farther and helping out more. My main concern with the school is teachers and the kids. And I just want to help. That's my goal. I just want to help. And I thank y'all for listening to me. I don't have much of a backstory. Last year when I got asked these questions, I did own a computer company in Florida, so I've had business. I'm former law enforcement. That's about it for me. I just want to be here to help. And if I don't get voted in, I'm going to stay on the partnership and still continue doing what I'm doing. I'll be here as a non-voting member, and hopefully that's how my voice will be heard, and the voices of the teachers and the parents who do talk to me and ask me to present stuff, that they'll be heard that way also. So, thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate that. Neil Firth.
Unmute myself, so hopefully you can hear me just fine. And apologize, I'm taking this call from the car because it's Olivia's 6th birthday, and so I'm in my party attire, and we'll be having some Bricks Pizza in just a moment. But yeah, I was interested in the opportunity to serve. Always have had a willingness to help out where needed, especially where my kids are attending. And so have been very pleased with Olivia's experience her first year. Asher just made it through the process and will be coming in as a 2nd grader, Olivia moving up to 1st grade. But just love all that everyone is doing at the school and the work that everyone is involved in. I think what I would add as far as value for the board, give you a little bit of my background. So I work for First Citizens Wealth Management Group. And so I've been a wealth consultant for about 5 years, in the financial industry for about 25 years. So that sounds pretty boring for being an educator, but I've been teaching people my whole life about the right things to do from a financial aspect. But my background, a lot of fun too. So I was a camp counselor for a number of years in Colorado Springs. Absolutely love that. If that paid the bills, I'd probably still be doing it. Swim instructor as well, and enjoyed that. From a board perspective, was just the past former president for the Leland County, or Leland City, Brunswick County Rotary Group, and have served in a number of roles there. Also served on the foundation, local foundation board for Bank of America. So prior to First Citizens, was with Bank of America. With that role, was involved with is a leadership role for the state of South Carolina, leading sales. And so one of the things that I think has always been important to me is the value of listening, the value of gathering information, the value of hearing what is important to folks, and then digesting that as a group and making some decisions that allow us all to move forward for the collective good, so to speak. And so, proof is in the pudding to some extent. And so with that particular role, had the top service scores from unbiased third-party collection of data from clients, and then also for employees, the highest employee satisfaction for the state of South Carolina, and that was at a nationally ranked level for the bank. So a lot of different experiences, and ultimately, want to just be able to work with a great group of folks, again, for the betterment of CFCI, not looking to reinvent the wheel, just make it a better wheel. That's all. And so if I can help, let me know. And if there's other folks you feel are more qualified, then just keep the rest of us folks in mind. But just listening to Josh and Ashley and a few of the other folks, you got some good candidates. So that's exciting.
Very exciting indeed. And Neil, did you speak to if you were interested in taking an officer position?
I'd be willing to do that. Absolutely. The treasurer one comes to mind as a shoe-in for a finance guy, but I can take good notes too.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time tonight. All right, next on the list would be, hold on, get my alphabet together. Joanna.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here this evening. As Lakeisha said, my name is Joanna Henderson. I am a mom of 3 CFCI kids, rising 7th grader, rising 5th grader, and a rising 1st grader. We've been at CFCI since 2019, and I've been an active volunteer in a variety of the partnership. I was on the partnership board of directors this year. I chaired Fund the Wonder. I have led the playground team initiative. I've built sandboxes and science tables, and looking to take more of a leadership role within the school, and interested in joining the board of directors for that reason. I have a background. I have a bachelor's from Furman University and a master's in education from the University of Georgia. I was at UNCW leading their business internship program and career placement for about 8 years. Then I was recruited to Live Oak Bank, where I served as the director of human resources. And from there, took a little professional detour and to be home with my kids a little more, and taught preschool for a little while. And now I just was recruited to head back to South State Bank, working in their SBA loan division. So I've kind of a background in HR, education, and finance kind of all have merged into my experience skill set. I served on the board of directors for the Cape Fear Area United Way for 8 years. I chaired the Community Impact Group, which is the group that gets to give away $2 million a year to deserving organizations. And so that's been a fun volunteer commitment that I've loved getting to do. Yeah, that's about it. I love CFCI. I believe so strongly in what the school is and what it can be, and the teachers and the education that my children have received. I would not send them anywhere else, and I am hoping that I can help contribute to the continued success of the organization. And I would be interested in taking any type of leadership role as needed. I've always kind of been with the philosophy of, if you need help, I'll jump in and do it. So that's me.
Thanks so much, Joanna. Appreciate your time there. All right, I have Evie.
Hi, my name is Evie Nicholas. So my background, I worked I went to school at UNCW. I'm from this community. I've lived in this community, and I've interacted with CFCI in various capacities, over the years. And I got my undergraduate degree in elementary education, and I taught before deciding I wanted to be involved with students in a different way, and got my master's in social work, and have been, initially I worked at Child Advocacy in the Parenting Place, where I taught evidence-based parenting classes and worked with juvenile diversion programs, and I continue to run a support group for grandparents who raise their grandchildren. And that program is now through the YWCA. But I worked for many years at Child Advocacy. And then about 7 years ago, I came to Med North Health Center, where I am the Integrated Behavioral Health Director, and I supervise a team and provide therapy, individual and family therapy. And I work with children, individuals, schools. I work with a lot of kids with intellectual and developmental disabilities, a lot of backgrounds, and have helped schools develop plans to help children be more successful. And I too believe in the mission and background of CFCI, and I'm super encouraged to see so many strong candidates for the board. And that's what I really wanted to see, was that there would be, people to help. And, so I said, I will help if the help is needed. So that's kind of my background. I can't think of anything else. I also have pretty extensive experience as a grant writer. So my grandparent program, I've written all the grants for the last 17 years.
Thank you, Evie. So appreciative of your time. Again, thanks. And let's see, next on the list, Missy Ritchie. Is she with us tonight?
I am.
Here we go.
I'm here. And it's so nice to be here and to see some familiar faces and new faces. Thank you for the opportunity. For those of you that don't know me, I taught art at CFCI from 2009 to 2019, and I retired, and I have really missed the community and would very much like the opportunity to continue to serve the community. Like I said in my application, the CFCI teachers are some of the boldest people I know out there, and I've been in education for 30 years. I really love the whole philosophy and mission of the school. Since I retired, I have been teaching. They call me their long-term, full-time long-term sub at Cape Fear Academy. I taught first grade for 3 or 4 months, and then last year I taught 5th grade reading and social studies for 7 months. And Cape Fear Academy is a great school, but in witnessing private school, general public school, and a public charter school, it gave me it instilled my belief in CFCI and seeing what the kids do, what the teachers are doing. I just think it's a fantastic school, and I would like the opportunity to continue to serve in any way possible. I don't think you would want me as your secretary. My typing skills are not the best. I'm rather slow, but I would be happy to help in any other way. I do think that my background in education, as well as teaching at CFCI, would bring a lot to the board. And I also think that my time in working at CFCI and doing great art expectations and helping with fundraising, I would be willing to help that in any way, help with fundraising. You've got some fantastic candidates out there. And I just have to say, Joanna, go Dogs. I went to Georgia. So it's nice to see everyone. I don't know what else to say other than that I'd love an opportunity to come back and help. And I've been away for 3 years, and I kind of stepped back completely. Miss Happy and I stay in contact, but I did that to sort of give myself some space and the school and her an opportunity to make her way at CFCI. And I love seeing everything on Instagram and hearing from teachers and seeing everything that's going on. It's a fantastic place, and I'd love to help in any way I can.
Thank you so much, Missy. Good to see you.
Good to see y'all.
All right, last and never least, we have Dr. Dana with us this evening. Welcome.
Hey everybody, I am Dana Stachowiak. I don't know why it says doctor on my thing. That's awfully pretentious, but I'm Dana Stachowiak. I am an associate professor at UNCW in the Watson College of Ed. I currently also am the director of the Gender Studies and Research Center at UNCW. But in the Watson College of Ed, as associate professor, I am the curriculum specialist. I'm a curriculum theorist. I write curriculum, I investigate curriculum, I create curriculum, talk curriculum all day. I also, in my role as the director of the Gender Studies and Research Center, do a lot of work around equity and social justice. And in my role as an associate professor, created actually a new curriculum studies for equity in education master's degree. Pretty proud of accomplishment there, where we have folks come in intentionally working for social justice and equity on curriculum. And see, prior to becoming a professor, I was a professor at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and I was professor of diversity and multicultural education, I think was my title. And before that, I was a curriculum specialist for Guilford County Schools and also Union County Schools. And I was also a teacher in elementary and middle school. So I have an education background that spans 20 plus years. I know I only look 20, sorry. I do, but I've been in education for quite a while. And one of besides just having educator as my background and kind of what I live and breathe every day, I have a particular soft spot for charter schools and for being on boards of charter schools. During my time in Greensboro, I co-founded the Experiential School of Greensboro. You can look that up. And when I left Greensboro and came here for this position, leaving that board was one of the hardest things that I did. And I still do write curriculum for that school a little bit here and there, mostly literacy and equity curriculum. But I'm really invested in how do we make charter schools stronger? How do we make just education in general more equitable for all students? I'm also interested in curriculum. How can we create more hands-on, more investigative curriculum that meets the students where they're at? I very much am a believer in lived curriculum, so kind of curriculum on the go, and of course also infusing equity in that. And then I think I'm excited about education. I think I'd bring that to the board. Also just a unique view of curriculum and just my experience with getting a charter school off the ground and then keeping it in play and being successful for a number of years now. I think that knowledge I can bring to the board as well. Maybe innovative ways of thinking about making change or creating growth. I have a little bit of a background in grant writing, lots of research, of course, comes with my job as well. So yeah, I'm happy to serve in whatever capacity y'all see fit. If it's on the board, if it's as a somebody who's in a different position, or if there's any other places, if I'm not selected to be on the board, I'm happy to serve and glad to have the opportunity to talk with y'all tonight. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dana. That was greatly appreciated. And I think that completes our long list of candidates. Making sure I didn't miss anyone. Ashley Brown has joined us. Ashley. No, that's not you. I've talked to you. I'm sorry, Ashley. I feel like there was someone that I missed, or did I miscount? Oh, it was Rebecca.
Person that was not
Rebecca.
here.
Yep.
Okay.
Except for
And
Rebecca, we're good.
Fantastic. Not a problem in that case. Board candidates, you are definitely welcome just to stay and hang out and see how some things go. If you need to move on with the rest of your night, I know Neil has gone on to better, more fun things, enjoying a birthday party. You'll definitely hear from us after tonight's meeting, after we've had a chance to discuss and vote. But again, I greatly appreciate your time, not only your willingness and motivation to submit an application and join, but also your obvious passion and good feelings for our school. That's just very greatly appreciated. I did want to give all the applicants a chance to ask questions to sitting board members if there's anything that you wanted to know or wanted a little insight on, clarification. Definitely, please feel free to ask. Does anyone have questions for any of the candidates that we haven't covered already? All right, in that case, let's go ahead and move on to our next section. We've got finance, HR, and some flooring discussions to talk about.
Yeah, not so much flooring discussion, but just wanted to update everyone. There was a conversation around whether we might be able to use some ESSER 3 funding for flooring versus the approval of using the funding out of Blue Clay. But we were not able to use that money for the flooring for a variety of reasons. And most importantly, there was a lot of restrictions around how you can use it when you're doing construction. So there were federal guidelines that we would have had to have followed. So just wanted to update you that the ESSER 3 money is still being used for buses, and that was voted on by the staff, and just wanted to let you know about that. And then also it would be wonderful if we could get a vote on approval of the 22-23 budget that's due to the state by the end of the month. So I can pull that up, and if anyone has any final questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
If there are no questions, or any need for clarification on anything, happy to have a motion to approve the budget for the 22-23 year.
I had one, just sorry, super quick question, Danielle. Just down at the bottom, the DHHS health grant is listed as an expense. Is that something we're paying back, or is that what makes that an expense versus a revenue?
You can't see it as a separate line of revenue, but it is a line of revenue. It's a state revenue, so it's included in the top, and then the reverse is an expense of where it's coming out of.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that makes total sense. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? All right, in that case, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the budget for 22-23 fiscal year?
I guess I'll keep up the theme and move to approve the 2022-2023 budget.
In a second,
A second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
I think I see hands. Fantastic. Motion approved. We have a budget in place for the 22-23 year.
The next thing is something that Susan's going to talk to you about. It's an approval that we need on a policy that is required by us. I can open that up for you. And I'll let Susan explain to you what this is.
Good evening, everyone. This is the McKinney-Vento dispute resolution policy. This was brought to us from our counselor, Olivia Horn, as the McKinney-Vento liaison. It is a requirement that the school have a policy in place for dispute resolution in the event that there is a student or family who claims that they should be eligible for McKinney-Vento services, and that's related to homelessness, and there's a very specific definition for that. And if the school deems that student ineligible to receive those services, there must be a dispute resolution policy in place so that these families have a particular avenue through which they can go to basically contest that decision. So that's what this policy is for. It was brought to us last week as she was finishing up her final submissions for our compliance pieces, and it's due by June 30th. So she just has to submit everything, including the way we have utilized grant funding, the policy, some other items that are required to submit for the McKinney-Vento requirements. So I'm happy to take any questions if anybody has any. Also important to note, this is the template that is provided by the state as a recommended policy. So she has adjusted and edited where necessary with regard to specific school language, but this is taken from the template that the state recommends.
Susan, do you mind taking a moment to give a little bit of just a short background on McKinney-Vento? Like I'm familiar with it, and I have no doubt that a lot of folks are, but I always try to think about folks who might be watching us in YouTube land, and it just sounds like a foreign language. And I don't know that I could eloquently sum it up in a couple of sentences.
So McKinney-Vento Act is a protection act for those that qualify under the act as homeless, the designated status. This can apply to a number of different people. For example, we experienced in the state a large insurgence of homelessness after Hurricane Florence hit our area. We had many students who were displaced from their permanent residences and were living in temporary housing. That would qualify a student under the McKinney-Vento Act. There is also protection for migrant workers those who travel frequently and don't have stable housing as a result. So that would also qualify under McKinney-Vento as well. And basically the school's responsibility is to provide transportation, to provide child nutrition if needed. There are certain supports that are required in order to accommodate the student who is homeless or identifies as homeless within the family. There is also unaccompanied youth as well if they don't have, and that should not be as much of an impact to our population given the K-8 status, but there are on occasion unaccompanied minors who do not have a parental figure who is responsible for them. So that's another piece of the McKinney-Vento Act as well. Currently this year, we have 0 students at CFCI who qualify as homeless. But due to the fact that we receive funding and we're required to have supports in place for students, should a student enroll who falls under those criteria, that's why we must, submit all of the documentation each year, ensure that we're in compliance with everything that the state and the federal government requires.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You definitely said that so much better than I ever could have. Any questions around McKinney-Vento? All right. In that case, I would love to have a motion to approve the McKinney-Vento dispute resolution policy.
I will make a motion to approve the McKinney-Vento dispute resolution policy.
Fantastic and well said, Mr. Chuck. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Great. All those in favor of approving the McKinney-Vento dispute resolution policy?
Aye.
I think I see hands and heard eyes. Did I lose some folks? Anyone opposed? All right, we have motion approved. We have a McKinney-Vento policy. All right, and the beginner teacher program plan?
Hi, so I'm presenting that. So our beginning to teacher support program, the last time we revisited that was back in December of 2020. We have had to put a few other things in place. So everything you see in yellow were the changes that we had made back in 2020. But if you scroll all the way down to the 5th page, page 5, one of the things that the state's requiring now is that when we have a mentor, mentors are the teachers that basically mentor our beginning teachers, and they have some requirements. And one of the requirements is that they need to be, we have our own evaluation tool, but if you're a mentor and part of the state BT program, you need to be proficient in NESES, which is the state rating program. And so you not only have to have your CFCI equivalent evaluation and be proficient, you also have to be rated proficient on your summative. So these teachers, and there's 4 of them right now, had to go through both, and they all did wonderfully. So that's where that little "and" in red is. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, the other thing that has to happen is that when we do observations of our beginning teachers, they need to be done in NESES. And so where it says in red again, will be evaluated at least once annually by a qualified school administrator, their summative, that's their end, all of their observations and all of the data points and everything goes in to NESES at the state level, and we had to include that in their observation evaluation paragraph. So everything you see, it's just those 2 minor changes that we have to do. We'll change the date on that, and Lakeisha, if this is approved by the board, we'll have you sign it. We'll send you something on DocuSign, I think, and have you sign it. Any questions?
Danielle, can you stick that back up, please? I had
Sure.
one question. Kim, it was just saying there on that page we were just on. I don't know if it's going to come back to that page.
It's page 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. I got it in front of me too. Each beginning teacher shall be observed at least 3 times annually by a qualified school administrator. And then in parentheses, it says director. Should we change that since we've changed that job description, or is that okay?
See where it says right after that though?
Or a designee.
It says or designee. That's what covers us. We could take it out, but because we hadn't gone through a full year, that's why we didn't.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
And that way, if Danielle was going to observe, but the director was going to observe, it's still possible.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, other questions about the beginner teacher program plan? All right, in that case, can we have a motion to approve the beginner teacher program plan?
I move to approve the beginner teacher program plan.
Second.
Fantastic. All those in favor of approving the beginner teacher program plan? Anyone opposed? Fantastic. Motion approved. We have a beginner teacher plan. All right, let's move into the enrollment piece.
Okay, so just a few things. Just wanted to point out some recent celebration and experiences that were very joyful at the end of the school year. So we had 8th grade graduation, we had Shrek the Musical. There's lots of museums and field experiences happening. So I just kind of included a array of them so you could see some of the wonderful things that the kids have been doing. There's a beach party for the 3rd grade and Sea Turtle Hospital for 2nd grade, and just all kinds of great stuff happening. So I wanted to make a note of that. And then a big celebration at the end of the year was a talent show that we did that Miss Hartley, who's our new music person, put on, and the kids were just incredible and it was very wonderful. And so I just wanted to give you a sense of some of the different acts that happened then. And I believe it was videotaped, so if you wanted to see it, you could. But to just give you an idea of some of the happy, fun stuff that was going on at the end of the year. This is our enrollment for next year. When it says pending, it means that, so for example, there are 2 seats that are open in kinder that the person next on the waiting list has 5 days to confirm. So that's what it means by pending. So it will roll through the list of people on the wait list until somebody accepts. So that's where we are with enrollment. Any questions about that? Okay, so then I just wanted to let you know about something a little different we're doing with summer communication. So in an effort to increase the retainment of our families over the summer, new families, also returning families, we have a plan to send out summer blasts at interval and sort of giving especially new people things like after school options, because we have Alphabet and we also have vans that go to different places. We have a new student welcome packet that was created by Olivia and some students. We will send out something to say, would you please consider being a room parent and what that is? Would you consider being a member of the partnership, etc. And so the idea is to just make sure that we are constantly communicating and reminding them of the great things that are coming up and ways they can get involved, and just make sure that they feel connected to the school. Any questions about that? And then the last thing I just wanted to update you on is all the summer work that's happening. So the floors have begun. They're looking really amazing. It is overtaking the building right now, so it's hard to be in the building because it's causing a lot of dust and dirt and smell. But you can see from where they started in the hallway, it just really looks very nice. So that's all working out on on plan and target. Over the summer, there's a plan to work on all of the things that need to be prepared to have the buses. So procedures for using the bus, insurance, documentation for parents, trip fees and payments, all of that will be designed and ready to go for the start of the year. We won't be getting the buses until September 8th is the date right now. That might push back a little bit later. So it would be good over the summer to make sure we have all of our procedures for actually using the buses in hand, ready to go. So then we have landscaping going on, mulching of the playground, the boardwalk will be constructed. There's 2 large sheds that are going to be constructed that are on site right now, just ready to be built. There's sandbox installation. So that just needs to, we have the, as you heard earlier, we did have a parent who helped us create them, but sand needs to actually go in them and they need to be anchored. And we are painting the common areas in 8 classrooms this summer. And another goal for summer is to create a 5-year facility plan. So looking ahead at not just next year, but having a plan over the next 5 years of what furniture would need to be replaced yearly, what painting needs to happen yearly, so that we're really budgeting out and we really have a good feel of what facilities work will need to be done. And that would also include an estimate of when the HVAC might need fixing, when the roof might need repairing. So all of those things are being checked out to try to figure out where they fall in our plan. Any questions about summer work?
Quick question about the buses. What is the thoughts behind drivers for the buses? I didn't know if there was going to be anything worked out with the county schools or what.
So we got really small buses so that anybody can drive them. You don't have to have a special license. So of course there'll be teachers who might not feel comfortable driving them, but we would then work to see who would feel comfortable, if it's a TA or a member of the support team, if there's somebody else who can drive them. But basically the 2 buses are enough to carry a classroom. And if a whole grade level was going somewhere, we would still need to use some chaperones. I mean, we will still need chaperones regardless of the buses, but I mean to drive.
Are there 15 passenger vans?
It's a
Are they
14. 14.
14, okay.
Okay. And that's it for that. That's back to you, Lakeisha.
All right, fantastic. The July board meeting date may need to be changed. By then, the infamous Dr. Stephen Hill will be taking over, I think, as chair, pending a vote, of course. And so we might have to change that date around. So we wanted to talk about that this month in order to make sure that got onto the calendars. What was the proposed date?
I would kindly request a movement of the July meeting to July 26th.
So if no one has any strenuous objection to that, everything else will, as far as we know at this point, will still follow usual 3rd Tuesday schedule. It's just that one July date.
Yep.
Going once? Going twice? Okay, I don't think we have, well, I don't know if we need an actual vote for that.
Let's just vote on it.
Want to vote? Okay.
Yep. I will make a motion to move the July board meeting to July 26th, 6 p.m.
And a second for that?
I'll second.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Miss Nancy. All those in favor of moving the July meeting to the 26th? Anyone opposed? Fantastic. July 26th is our next meeting.
Thank you.
You're so very welcome. All right, now I would like a motion to go into closed session with full board minus our candidate, the esteemed Stephen Exum, to discuss board member applications, and then later we'll discuss everything else, HR, grievance, and evaluation. So I'd love to have a motion for that.
Motion to move into closed session for personnel, for board evaluations and personnel matters.
Say that twice as fast.
That didn't come out quite like I intended it.
Story of our lives.
Yeah.
Second that motion to go and do all the things in closed session.
And a fine motion it was.
All those in
Lakeisha-
favor?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
All those in favor? Fantastic. Motion approved.
Lakeisha, can I just ask you, we have some of our new teacher board members who are going to be official next month. Do they also come into closed session or just the ones that are currently serving?
I think it's just currently serving for this
Okay.
one.
I just want to make sure I pulled the right people.
That's okay.
Okay, I'll do that now.
Lakeisha, can I come in and then leave? Just because I want to say my 2 cents about a couple people, if I
I'm
can.
okay with that.
Okay, thank you.
Did Kathy Mintz want to say anything since she's the founder seat that's voted on by the board?
Kathy can speak if she wants to. I don't know if she wanted to.
I am. I don't
here,
even know
but
if she.
I hadn't prepared anything. I mean, if y'all have any questions for me, I just finished my 9th year at CFCI. This would be my 2nd rotation on the board as the founder's seat. So I'm excited to serve our community again in a different capacity. But if y'all have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm assigning the rooms now.
And I think we're finally all back.
Yep.
Making sure I got all my windows of people. All right. So may I have a motion to approve the HR report as discussed in closed session?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the HR report as discussed in closed session.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
My wingman.
Anyone opposed? Fantastic. Motion carried to approve HR report. And may I now have a motion to approve board member elections as discussed in closed session?
Motion to approve the board member election stuff as discussed in closed session.
Second.
All those approve?
It was so
And you
eloquent in my head.
It's
And
so
then-
good.
That's okay. That's okay. Anyone opposed? All right, motion carried after that tongue twister. Next, board retreat. Dr. Hill, do you have anything to say about potential board retreat in August?
Did we say the 17th or 18th pending?
Yes.
Something like that. So,
So-
there will be a board retreat on the 17th or the 18th. We'll talk about stuff. We'll have an external person come in to be determined,
Excellent.
who will do a little chit chat about the roles of the board and all those kind of fun things. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to do some team building type stuff too, hopefully. That's always fun. The intention is, barring any sort of crazy disaster, that we will absolutely meet in person though for this. That would be very nice to hang out and see everybody face to face. But that's the plan. So the 17th or 18th, and that's kind of pending the third party person we're working on.
Stephen, is there, I know that makes it more complicated. Is there any opportunity for discussion of those dates? Those are teacher work days. Our first two teacher work days are all in PD.
Yep.
And Thursday is also open house.
Mhm.
And that's going to make it really hard for any of our teacher members.
Yeah, we can so those were dates that we kind of cooked up, recognizing that teachers would be around, but we can certainly discuss, and we're happy to talk more about that. Those are very much penciled dates at this point.
Okay,
but
great.
We absolutely want teacher involvement, want to hopefully have you all around and be on campus at that time. So we'll sort that out, but just somewhere in that time frame.
Thank you.
Yep. But yeah, that's definitely, we're cognizant of that.
Fantastic. All right. Other than that, keep in mind we have a special meeting on June 28th. That's next Tuesday. Again, at 6 o'clock, we're going to vote in officer positions from the new board members who got elected tonight. They will be joining us and have a chance to weigh in on that if they would like. We're also going to talk about board goals in the next meeting. So apologies that in past 2 monthly meetings, not everyone has had a chance to report and give updates on the status of all the board goals. So we're going to wrap that up next month. And this is our last monthly meeting for this fiscal year. We will come together again next week. So some of us, this is our last monthly meeting. All right, if there is nothing else, friends, we will let you get on with your evening as soon as I have a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Is there? Fantastic.
Amy, did you get that? Second?
Yes.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I didn't think so. Have a good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.